Empfehlung eines Trinkers. Trinkabenteuer von und mit Jörg Meier. Very good. I'm sitting here with the last samurai of Japanese bartending, Hidetsuego Ueno.
Maybe.
In the dark basement in Berlin, because we flew for all these lovely people because they were so noisy. We're here for the CAMPARI WERKSTATT, they call us, where you teach barkeeper about the culture of ice. Do you?
I basically demonstrating like ice balls and ice diamond as usual. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this ages now.
We just talked about it. We did this 8 years ago in Hamburg. Didn't we? It was fun. Yeah. Except I broke my car, but that's it.
No, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry about this.
No. It was not because of the ice.
And I try to give them some hint to a different way of shaking for making different type of cocktails and stirring as well. Mm-hmm. I did one day yesterday. It was pretty much they're very serious, keen to learn, a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
So I'm doing this podcast, which we call in German, it's called Empfehlungen eines Trinkers, which we could translate into recommendations of I don't know if the right word is professional drinker or professional alcoholic, but it's more like...
So more consumers.
Yeah, it's dedicated to people who love good drinks. So some of them travel. Some of our listeners just visited you. They posted. We have a Facebook group, and they posted pictures. They were like, "Look, I'm here, Ueno."
And did because you recommended us, and thank you so much.
No, pleasure. And many of them do drinks at home, and I don't know if there's some. Maybe you can give us some secrets on how to handle ice. What's the secret on? What's your? Could you kind of summarize it or explain it, or is it too complicated?
No. Drinking at home, if you have some ingredients, you can nearly drink the same thing. But the point that you go to the bar to get something, you cannot recreate exactly the same thing at the home. So nowadays, especially in Japan, you can buy proper ice in convenience store, or you can also buy ice balls, which is insane, with good quality. Whiskey on the rock with ice ball at home is like, now you don't have to go to bar. But
I would disagree. It's all about the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
At home, there's no Ueno San smiling at you.
Yeah, there's no conversations and atmosphere. And, I agree. For the drink itself, I don't know the situation in Germany, but can you buy proper ice in at home?
Not yet. So that's so what you can see is many people start to buy like this. There's people starting to do some proper forms, so you can like freeze it like one-dimensional. So like I don't know if you know that like Camper English is educating so that the ice becomes crystal clear.
Yeah.
So you just have to cut off the rest and run it. So this is what people also start to buy at home, because for sure, I mean, they still love to go in bars, but they cannot go 7 days a week, and they want to have a proper drink, maybe to impress their friends when they come for dinner. They want to show off with some cool ice techniques and tricks. You know how it is. This is how I would do it, pretending. And so you can see there's a movement in Germany that people. And I think the fun fact for me would be that most of them spend money on both ways. They love to get ideas and to meet people in good bars, but also they improve their home bar to try to make really good ice and simple drinks at home. But you know, so my idea is, can we tell them something about, I don't know, how you stir drinks, what's your philosophy on the ice, how you shake, because you have this special shake where you kind of aerate the drink, or is it too complicated?
In Japan, we probably use the different tools than the other countries. That we use a cobbler, three-piece shaker. I think in Germany is tin shakers and Boston shakers more popular.
You're only allowed to use Salvatore Calabrese shaker.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Only thing allowed. The rest you get penalty.
Not Chūō Schumann.
That's also okay. Are you right? I forgot that. You're totally right. Yeah, I forgot he did one. Yeah, he's so famous for his glasses now. So I forget he did.
So I do use sometimes. I'm not really familiar with, but I think it's better to use at home because
the cobbler shaker or the two-piece?
Two-piece shaker.
Okay.
Because the purpose for shake is, of course, chilling, mixing, but also put some air into the drink. The Boston shaker, tin shaker, has a distance and a lot of space inside of shaker, much more than cobbler shaker. So it's much easier to put air into the drink and get a nice drink with short shaking with ice at home, I believe. So I've been, when I was young, 20s, some the overseas bartenders came to Japan showing us some cocktails. Like the shaking was bloody short. And I was like, oh, it was like he finished just shaking like 4 or 5 times. But the liquid come from the shaker is a lot of air, the bubbles. Like, wow, I was very surprised. So there is I think, deep connection between bar tools and ice. Now I changed my bar's location 2.5 years ago, and one of my dreams came true to have one of the small ice machine in my bar now.
You know that it's so funny that you say that, because all the German, I mean, because we do all these hotels and we have I don't know, dozens of Hoshizakis, but all the German people dream about how Tokyo bars buy ice blocks. And now you say it's so wonderful to have an ice machine. This is amazing. I like to hear that.
Yeah, the bars in...
So which machine you use?
Hoshizaki.
Wachaka! I like, yeah. No cold draft in Japan.
They don't lunch in Japan.
No, we have. I love Hoshizaki. It's a really good machine.
So I put the proper water filter before it goes to the...
very important. Very important.
So I have water for drinking water, and the ice is kind of same quality.
Which machine you use?
Which?
Because Hoshizaki has so many machines. Which one you use?
Oh, is it
just the ice cubes?
Yeah, ice cube.
Oh, not the big cubes or the...
No.
Okay.
Ice cube, simple, the smallest one I can buy.
But you still buy block ice to make your time. Okay.
I bought it because I thought I could do more experiment with different shakers and with ice machines ice and double freeze ice, and I'm too lazy. It's been 2.5 years. I haven't done anything, but I have an ice machine, so I can do it anytime I want. But for the drinks, I still use the ice I buy.
So what for you need the Hoshizaki ice?
And that right now is only for water. A chaser bottle.
This is the ice freak from Japan. He buys the ice machine for water.
Because in a chaser, the ice you get when you go into the bar, we usually put the ice in it. But I've seen overseas they don't put the ice into the water. So.
I like ice water. Oh, not in America because there's so much chlorine in the water. But normally I like ice water.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So when it comes to the ice blocks you're using, at what temperature you store them?
Minus 25 to minus 30.
Fuck! Why you have that chillers only? Ours only are 22. We are losers.
No. I have minus 60. There's a medical freezer.
You have a medical freezer.
It's a minus 60.
You know that you just changed the game now. Now German people have listened to this. Now people will start to buy. This is what I will do now for my next bar, looking for medicine equipment, buying 10 times the price maybe. So you could go minus 60.
Yeah, I can.
Freaks. I like that.
But you know, when you want to cut it or a carving, you have to make it a bit warmer.
No, just to understand for the listeners. So you have a company. You can call people and say, "Give me an ice block," and then they bring you an ice block. What's the size of the ice block?
Usually we have a local measurement, but it's about 4 kilogram each.
4 kilo. And what's the price of 4 kilo? Roundabout.
It depends, but normally I have a longer relationship.
For sure, so you have good price.
Yeah.
Good friend. You don't have to tell us the exact price, just an idea. Not make these people like, he told us.
Maybe
Roundabout.
4 kilogram, 3-4 euro.
I hate Japan now already. This is so amazing.
So they don't make a profit.
And they bring it to your
Every
bar
day,
in the wow. With delivery. How much ice blocks you use a week in your bar?
A week, I do 3 or 4 a day.
So that's in 25 a week or something like that. Okay. Interesting. So you and so they delivered and then you put it in your medical freezer?
We warm it up and divide it and put it in the freezer back.
Okay, so what means warming it up? So you get it and then you let it rest on room temperature?
Yes, let it to a slightly melt on top and the surface.
Yeah.
Too easy to cut.
So you see when it starts to melt?
It's usually in the freezer the ice get white.
Yeah.
Because of the moisture.
The snow and
it's about the time the moisture white part off. And it's got you can see this ice is very clear now, and they start cutting.
And then you cut it into the big cubes and the long.
The size we once put on the rock for the tumbler for long drink and the equal square foot balls.
But you don't cut it with a bandsaw.
We do use
Japanese
knife.
ninja knife.
Ninja noodle knife.
Do you have chainsaw to still cut it?
Of course not. I have a small ice saw, but it's only for traveling. Because
it's only to show off in Europe.
No. Remember?
You travel with a saw in the plane.
Remember when I first time came for BC?
Yeah, 10 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's 9 years ago. They want me to do an ice carving session.
I remember.
So I brought only small carving knife and the ice they prepare
in Berlin at this time you could buy the 200 kilo blocks. I bought the same. They cost like 300 euros.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, what do I need to do with this knife? So, I use ice saws. Sometimes I ask them like a 7 centimeter square ice or but sometimes they just prepare, here's your ice, like 100 kilos. ISO, I just use it for outside of country.
For the tourists. Yeah, I see.
This workshop,
Events
they have
like this, yeah.
huge blocks. Like, yes, I have ISO, so I can cut it down.
But also, you need to rest these big blocks also, so they need to get like...
if you use ISO, you don't need to wait.
Okay. If it's a good ISO, you can directly...
Yeah, but I use a knife, so I need to warm it up a little bit, because if you use ISO, you get a lot of waste. And I don't like to waste. So I use a
lie. Mura. No, how's it called in Japanese when you have waste? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, so how do you store your ice? Is there something to take care of how to store ice correctly in a freezer? The Japanese way.
We only use for ice, the storage.
No chicken. I agree.
I try to use old one, faster first. Today we cut this much, but we have a one we cut it yesterday, so we use yesterday's one first.
First in, first out.
Otherwise, you get some kind of white stuff and moisture.
Inside?
Inside. Of,
or on the outside?
I mean, outside of ice, but inside of a bag.
So the ice becomes moister in the inside?
Inside of a bag, but outside of the ice.
Okay.
So it's really difficult to use later on. I buy like a cube as well. We used to storage. We get the larger location. We have put a lot of freezers, and and storage like a 10 bag of cube ice, and I got so much white stuff. And it's really difficult to take it out. So I decided not to store so much. So I just need to use the one you bought first. That's going around. That's I only care now, and I don't know why. If you store in bottom of the freezer, I don't know why, but it melts.
Really?
Yeah. If you store it a long time, like I used to store ice ball in the very bottom.
Maybe there's some motor under it, and there's some heater. No.
Or dry out.
Dry out. Interesting. I never. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. Interesting. So then, when it comes to use for example, when you have these now crystal clear ice blocks, and you want to use it in your, let's say, stirring drink. You have to take it out before and rest it, or can you use it directly from the freezer?
For stirring ice cube, I try to use the one from freezers directly.
Yeah.
I don't rest the ice in the room temperature.
Okay.
But I only why? Because I can control the temperature better.
Okay.
It's always same temperature.
So you believe, as when it has to be very, very cold, you put it in the stirring glass, and then the drink becomes colder with less dilution?
Yes and no.
Okay, I like that.
Because I have two type of stir to chill the liquid down and warm the liquid up. Because in Japanese, put the base spirits for cocktails in the freezer as well.
Really? In the freezer or in the chiller?
Freezer.
In the medical one?
The normal one. Medical one, I can't touch it.
My next bar will be very expensive.
So the gins and rums and vodkas and everything in the freezer. So it's sometimes like minus 25-ish gin to making gin martini. Sometimes it's colder than ice. You know what I mean? So liquid.
Could you please warm up my dry martini, please? With pleasure, sir.
But the cocktail needs water.
Yes,
Yeah.
true. Martini needs water, except in Duke's bar, there's no water. But a different story. Very good martinis. Yeah.
So I'm actually warm it up with ice. The people think the ice is for making things colder, but actually I'm warming up with.
You just use warm ice to get some dilution, kind of.
Yeah, it get dilution, and even the liquid is colder because of the walking around, and by stair, and the things get the warmer, you get the more aroma, but it's minus 25, so it's still very cold after it finish in the stirring. So I have three type of stir I use.
Interesting. So when it comes to your shaking technique, what ice do you prefer and how you use it in your cobbler shaker? Is it one piece or a few small ones or one big chunk of ice, and why is it?
It depends what kind of cocktail you're making.
I see.
White spirit, refreshing sour drink, I use regular cube.
Hoshizaki?
No.
No.
Sorry.
No. That's for water only. That's for water. Yeah. Not that good. That's for water only. I see. I got it.
The one I buy. The one I buy cube.
So one cube, one big cube.
No, the small, like a 3x3 cube.
Okay.
Like a simple cube. I put mostly full. I have two type of the kind of put a bunch of ice or two-thirds of ice, and do you need the details?
You're just asking for the freaks, but it's
and the ice going around type, or ice stop and then the liquid goes up and down.
I see.
Type.
So you have two types of shaking. One is like a circle, so you circulate the ice. This is for the fresh drinks?
That is for like a refreshing white spirit cocktail.
It gets colder?
It's get chipped ice on surface.
You get this ice, little ice chips.
In outside of country, usually take the tipped ice on surface by strainer, fine strainer, right? Because when it's melt, it's get water. So they take it up. But in Japan, ice is very good quality, and drinks it's like a -10, -8. So it won't melt.
No, I know what you mean. I love my daiquiris not strained, double strains. I love the little chips.
Once you sip your cocktail, it's melt right away.
I'm not a fan of double straining. I nearly, except for basil smash, because I need to bring the basil out of it. I never double strain. It was fun. I once had a bad review on I don't know, Facebook or somebody wrote like, oh, this bar has no clue, they don't double strain their classics. I needed really to be not to answer like, you fucker. I was very nice. I didn't.
Those kind of thing, you know, sometimes I really, the listeners to know, to give, the ignorant comment. I have a lot of ice carving videos in the air, in the internet. Oh, so many criticizing for.
The comments. That's always horrible.
Touching ice.
He's touching the ice. Yeah, for sure.
No, for my.
You stupid black gloves look idiot. I mean, he has clean hands, so why is not?
Like a tipped ice on surface. I do one chunk of ice for a brown spirit cocktail, like a sidecar.
Because you don't want them so cold, or you don't want them so much?
I don't want less dilution.
I see. I got it. Interesting.
I have like creamy cocktail type of shaking, egg white, and
so that's all different types of shaking.
Different type of shake, different type of shaker, different type of ice.
Different shaker means you have different sizes of cobbler?
even material, I do
The
use,
material.
I do use a plastic shaker, which is very unusual. And
You show that on stage. I remember. For what drink you use plastic?
Plastic, a fresh fruit cocktail. I unify all the ingredients before I shake. Usually it's models and shake in a double strain, right?
With that technique, you could do a basil smash.
Well, maybe. But I do use hand blender.
I saw, yeah. So this is what I saw. So what Ueno does, you put the ingredients in the shaker first,
in the cup,
and then you have these little things you normally use for cafe latte.
That one is for
Traveling.
that is for like a sidecar gimlet. You get unified ingredients and get air inside of the liquid first, and then get short shaken. But the hand blender, what I'm talking about, the huge,
which they use in kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, we just buy them for a new project. We in Düsseldorf. We're testing like 10 different, and we will only have. There's no shakers. We just use that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I unified all ingredients in the liquid and fresh fruit, and we strain first before we shake.
You strain first. So if I understood, for example, if you have fresh fruit, you use the kitchen blender and make, and then you strain it to get out all the fruit
seeds and skins,
and then you shake.
Then you shake. All I need is a chilled liquid, so I don't need to do anything. I just want to chill it with less dilution, because the fresh fruit cocktail is nice as it is. So I just only need to chill it. But if I use a stainless shaker, at the edge of ice tip, once it's tip, it melt. So I use a plastic shaker that the shake really gentle, then the edge of ice never tip. So it's less dilution.
I'm such a beginner.
I do egg white the same way.
With the plastic.
Hand blender, so you get
very fluffy. But you strain it first, and
then you egg white you don't need. So I shake it really gentle, so really fluffy drink with less dilution.
So kind of summarizing. So you just for shaking drinks. So first of all, when you have 3 to 4 different types of shakers.
Yes.
You just because of the material, also the size, because it would chill different. You use in general. In general, you would use 2 different styles of ice. Sometimes you use the big one for more like brown spirits. You just want to chill gently. You use the smaller ones to more fresh and a little bit of dilution and more like. Then you have 3 types of aeration method. One is the small latte blender. You do just a little then you have the big ones when it's like egg white or fruit. The kitchen one. So the small one is like gimlet and sidecar. And then also you have an aeration in the shaking technique. Did you ever thought about writing a book like 600 pages on how to shake a perfect cocktail?
I have a familiar writer based in Japan, Tokyo. We've been talking about writing books in years and years, and I'm just going back and forth in countries.
You cannot decide. You're still discovering difference.
Yes, I have my own bar now, so nobody tell me what to do. But I still looking for something better. I'm asking myself, is this the best way? But of course, when I'm making cocktail, I of course thinking this is the best way to serve the cocktail to the customer, and I'm very confident. But
maybe next year you found something more interesting. This I like to hear that, because that's the same with I think with most of the bars. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is just for you. If you think just making a cocktail is icing and up, we just proved you are wrong. There's many things to watch at. So, when people come to Tokyo, where can they find your bar?
My bar is now in a basement.
Ooh, it used to be 4th floor, huh?
Yes. To find a good bar, in my personal opinion, it's not in a street label, hiding from the public in the street. I would never have my bar in a street label because this is bar, let's go type of customer I don't want. So you have to look for the place to go down up anyway. So my bar is in central of centros called Ginza.
That's the financial district? No.
That is also F&B central as well. It's very educated people, high-end customers like a president of company, chairman,
CEOs,
doctors,
chairman.
CEOs.
Some geishas? We don't talk about that.
I don't have a menu in my bar, so we talk every single drink or details for each customers. You can say tailor-made. Next to my bar is an Hermes boutique store.
What?
Hermes.
What is Hermes?
Hermes is a boutique. The global.
Hermes. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So easy.
Luxury.
To find. Luxury. Whole building. So next to my. Next to my.
So you can don't spend all the money on the bag from Hermes. Bring it to the bar. I got it. On the flip side, you can maybe one can go to Hermes and one can go drinking if you.
That's cool.
I know from the past that one of your, I don't know if it's still like this, that one of your signature drinks is the White Lady. Is it still your signature drink?
Yeah.
Or what would you say is the most known drink in your bar? What is the drink, or is it curry?
Okay. We have a lot of house specials using local flavors and local spirits.
Interesting.
Even the bourbon whiskey we use it only for Japan market. So back in the USA you can't buy it. So even simple.
So you have special editions of bourbon made for the Japanese.
Yeah, Japan market.
Made for Ueno San.
No. So even a simple old-fashioned, a different experience for the international visitors.
So I still need to come.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
And for the Japanese bartenders, it's very important to grab one of the very popular classic as a signature. So my head bartender is the signature cocktail is called a bamboo cocktail.
Oh, I remember that. It's sherry and
yes, it's like a sherry martini kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's still cocktail, but she slowed the cocktail. So aromatic.
She's throwing it to get more aeration.
Yeah. So drinks get lighter.
Yeah.
And it's got aromatic.
So can you get the recipe for us?
Bamboo cocktail is, like I said, it's very light aperitif gin martini using Fino sherry instead of gin.
Yeah.
So Fino sherry, dry vermouth, a few dash of orange bitters, but my bartender slowed the bamboo.
Yeah.
So drinks get so much lighter than stir.
Yeah.
So she used a bit of Oloroso sherry instead of
which brand?
Bardespino.
Okay, so she's using Fino in Maine.
Fino as a base.
And what brand is that?
Tio Pepe.
Tio Pepe.
Gonzales.
Yeah.
Dry vermouth.
Which dry vermouth?
Noilly Plat.
Yes, we all know.
And she used a tiny bit of Oloroso sherry instead of orange bitters. so it will remain.
Okay, no orange bitter is the original. And do you add some like zest or oil or no?
She doesn't.
You do.
I do a bit of both.
I like that.
Lemon.
I love that. In a small bar, I think drinks should be very individual. I think it's okay if the owner does it different from the. I think in a small bar, it's great.
Once I'm working and she's working, when I get the order for bamboo, I never make. But when I have to make bamboo cocktail, I can't swirl the drink. So I have to stir.
So the young people can do it. It's like in my bar. They know all the tricks. I can only do basil, but
So I don't swirl the drink. If it's a bucket underneath, I can do it. But
nice.
So it's just I give it a little bit lemon twist.
And so how's your? I know that your signature is the white lady. Is it still?
Still white lady, and I don't know if the people realize that you should have signature is only one. You know what I mean? You have signature.
There's only one. Yeah. But as far as I know, your personal is white lady. So how are you? Yeah, for sure. But how are you doing it?
Well,
so which means, just to understand Japanese philosophy, each bartender has one signature drink.
Yes.
So a bar can have like 3 or 4 if there's more serious bartenders.
It's not signature. If you have 4 signatures, then you can't really.
That's not a signature. A signature is you have one signature.
Yeah. We call it the other one is for house specials and blah blah blah. But the white lady I call it signature classic. I explained like I did just before. It's simply gin, Cointreau, lemon juice, shaken.
Which gin?
If people don't ask, I use a house, which is Tanqueray London Dry.
Lovely.
Could be Beefeater 47. Not 24, 47 ABV.
No tea, that's too modern. No.
Cointreau fresh lemon juice.
And do you do egg white?
In Japan, when you're a white lady, no Japanese bartender put egg white. Because in the cocktail book in the past, in history in Japan, that doesn't say egg white.
What is the book?
The cocktail book.
Is there only one?
No. In the history
the old
book.
one. I see. I got it.
Any cocktail book we see in Japan doesn't have egg white in the recipe. So some cocktail books said egg white for option. So since Japanese palate become more dry type, it's like at last maybe 30-40 years. I don't think they like the texture of using egg white. So Japanese are more dry side.
What is that? Is it your telephone?
Yep.
I like that. No problem. Very cool sound. Who's calling?
Sorry.
It's Japan is calling. No egg white.
No egg, so I don't use egg white.
Okay.
But I get many.
But you have the special aeration technique. So if you do white lady, do you use the small blender to
white lady? No, I just
shake by hand.
Shake by hand, yes.
Special.
Like it's called
circle.
A hard shake.
Hard shake. Hard guy, hard shake. Like that.
Different way. But it's ice rolling type. A lot of tip size on the surface.
Nice. So if our friends from our little experienced drinker community wants to travel to Tokyo for sure, first now they have to come to your bar. Otherwise, we unsubscribe them, we kick them out. But what should people? Is there something you would recommend drinking-wise for Tokyo? What you like? What is a great bar? What is something to look at? What is a great experience?
Yeah, I've been giving a presentation about the Japanese bartending, but you can't define for one type because different bars do different
and
things.
You have so many of the small nice ones.
So to enjoy the difference, but most of the Japanese bartenders focus for classic cocktails. And if you like the classic cocktails, just let them to work what they do. Don't tell them I like this brand, that brand. Use this one.
Yeah, but I think this is I love the idea of you walk into a strange bar, you order a drink, and then you just relax and see what's happened. Because this is, in my point, the art of going to a bar and drinking. To understand this is a different philosophy, this is this type of person, he likes it this way. I agree.
So, once you know your favorite, you want to stay, I understand. But for the bar you've never been, let the bartender work their job, and then you become a familiar. You can talk. I like this, I like that.
So after how many visits you are allowed to talk to a bartender? What's the rule in Japan? After 50 or 120? After 10 years you start to order your brand. You guys are like this, so that's why I'm asking.
Well, probably the bartender recognize your face.
Okay.
Time.
Okay.
Some people recognize you for a second visit, maybe. But 10th visit, people still don't. The bartender still don't recognize you. You don't. I don't know.
Is it? But is there some? I know it's tricky to pick one because all the colleagues. But is there some places you would love to recommend, which you think are very special or unique? I also know that it's still a problem that some of the very nice small bars in Ginza don't speak English, so some of them are very uncomfortable to host international guests, not because they are rude, just because they cannot communicate.
It's all about hospitality that they want to give, but if you cannot communicate, you can't give the food of hospitality. So they just say no. It's nicely say
with a smile. No. And
I usually recommend the bar really close by from my bar. The master
business-wise, very clever to do that.
It's a waiting bar, my waiting bar.
So let's call. What's the waiting bar name?
It's called a Mimi.
Mimi. Okay.
He speaks English. He used to live in the States and Canada. It's about 1 year.
Yeah.
And he's a IBA cocktail champion.
Okay.
So he makes more than okay drinks for sure.
Yeah.
And I recommend him because he's a good guy.
Nice. I like that.
He doesn't.
He has the right heart on the right.
That's not hardcore at all. It's like a smiley and welcome and
hello.
That's why I recommend my customers there.
Is there when I would come to? Sometimes you have this in the city. When I would come to Tokyo, is there maybe this one liquor shop who has it all? If you want to buy, is there something really strange? For example, in Hamburg, you have 1 or 2 addresses where you definitely, if you're into spirits, you have to go there. Is there some in Tokyo you'd say you need to go there? If you love to buy like good whiskey or strange things, or if you're...
There's a few liquor shop in town in Ginza.
Yeah.
Some people wants to go liquor shop, So we map it at the point of it.
Okay.
But
So you have to come to your bar first and then you get the map. I like the way you do business. I like that. So this is not you don't get information for free, my friends. No, not in Japan.
I don't mention anything. And but if you're looking for Japanese whiskey, it's kind of too late to come. It's been popular like 5.
I know it's
years.
the prices in Europe are. I think like Hibiki 17, I started to buy like for 45 euros, and now it's like if you get a bottle, it's like 200 or 150 or something like that. 150 maybe tourists.
And they stop.
I know you don't get it. They said we don't give to the tourists. We drink in our own.
Hakushu 12 is also stopped selling. This old Nikka stopped selling old vintage.
Then we have to talk to Mario. Bring some Nikka. Nice. Great. Well, I think we have to go up because now there's lots of bartenders from Munich coming and Stuttgart. I think they told me they come at 11 and now we are 5 minutes late. I think 5 minutes is okay for the superstar, but we don't want to be unpolite. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot. So, we haven't talked about, what's the name of your bar?
My name of my bar is High Five.
This is what I thought, but we haven't mentioned it. So yeah, nice. So if you go to Tokyo, do me a favor, visit Hidetsuego Ueno, but everybody calls him Ueno San. And if you want to see what we talked about, go to YouTube and type in Ueno San, and you will see some very great videos with some strange comments on it. We learned, but it's amazing.
Don't anything add to the negative.
No, you can do thumbs up and nice comments. That's okay. And he's the master of cutting with a knife a diamond from that's your signature ice, I would say. I think you made it famous. The Tiffany's diamond shape in a glass. So if you want to have some, he told me in the morning when we had the coffee, said, now all these people drink cocktails, nobody drinks whiskey, so do me a favor, go to his bar and order a whiskey first, then he loves you. The rest is too complicated. He also told me that his bar, because he has moved, now is super big. And then I asked him how big is it. He said, now we can fit 24 people. And I was like, what the fuck he's talking? He was really stressed, like, it's really big now, it's like a monster. So maximum capacity now is 24. It used to be 12, huh? 14?
More or less. Yeah.
So you double capacity? So now he's having a super huge bar in Tokyo.
Super huge.
Super huge. One of the biggest.
More than 20 people.
Yeah. Oh no. All the Japanese are like, oh no, that's such a busy place. We don't go there.
This is huge.
So do me a favor and visit him. Ueno, thanks a lot. And now I'm really curious to listen to your ice philosophy and see it and saw some ice with you.
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Dankeschön.
Alle weiteren Empfehlungen eines Trinkers finden Sie auf trinken.jrgmyr.net und dort finden Sie auch ein Newsletter-Sign-in und ich würde Sie bitten, gerade wenn Sie im Großbereich Hamburg wohnen, sich dort einzutragen, denn über die Newsletter spreche ich Einladungen zu Trinkveranstaltungen rund um Hamburg aus, denn lass es alle Theorie, es geht natürlich auch ein wenig um Praxiserfahrung. Bis dahin.